I'm good, I would need, I would die, 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 I would need, I would die.
Anyways, get me caught up. What's new in your world? What's new? What do these people need to be hearing today?
My big push and focus is like the momentum of the market that we've been feeling.
Yep.
Is from when interest rates were what they were back when they were.
Yep.
And the interest rates picking back up certainly is going to cause additional headwind. People are going to jump back on the fence. People are going to get more cautious because the economic news keeps getting worse. And people get scared as that stuff starts to happen. So one common theme, and I don't fault anybody for this because we've all had these thoughts at some point, is we have a rule where you got to maintain a 1 out of 5%. You have to maintain a 5% minimum conversion with platform leads. And one of the common things is like, well, this lead was this, and this lead was this. And it's like, you and I have talked about it a million times. We know if you get 100, you're going to get 90 to 95 who are going to absolutely ghost you, not be real buyers, not be qualified. Like that is part of the conversion. But it's that 1 or 2 out of 20 that a good agent can do and a great agent can do, and it's baked into the averages of those numbers. So regardless of the type of lead or regardless of the person's situation or they're working with an agent, you have to understand 90 to 95 of them are going to ghost you and not work with you. You cannot focus on those people. Your goal is to identify who those 5 are, who those 4 are, and then focus relentlessly on those people once you've identified them by asking really, really great questions that Robby teaches us to ask.
Mm-hmm. I want to add into this, and Colton, this is going to go full circle. I'm going to hit on some things that
it always does.
I first taught when Colton first heard me speak at the Wailopa conference. Prior to COVID, back before this stupid ass market made us soft as shit in real estate.
You remember the bullshit you say?
Oh, sometimes I try to. You know, my Alzheimer's and dementia some days is. I want everybody to write this down. This ISA or lead conversion or lead generation role is like being a gold miner. We are digging through piles of shit to find gold nuggets. You are not an alchemist. You are not going to turn shit into gold. The biggest problem for so many of you is you are trying to turn shit into gold by following up with trash, by trying to turn no's into yeses. Never going to happen. And what happens is that takes up your time and mental energy, and gold turns into shit because you never unearthed it. Our jobs are to dig through piles of dirt, and this is really just to reiterate and support what Colton said, that in order to win at a 5% clip, what it really means for sure is 50 to 60% of the people that you end up reaching are never, ever, they're not even going to have a good conversation with you. Never going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's okay. The numbers are baked in. Move the fuck on. It's going to happen. Then we have about another 20 to 30% of people that are going to have conversations. And our jobs is essentially to sort people into 3 simple piles. I just try to simplify everything. Yeses, people don't want to do something now. Yes, when / maybes, I want to do something later. So your follow-ups, and not interested. That's it. That's all you should be doing. And when you're talking to people, you make your best judgment on which pile they fall into. Now, in your conversation, of course, I've taught you guys that when people give you a soft no, our job is to ask clarifying questions. When people are saying they want to wait a year, we need to ask, do you want to be in a house in a year? Or do you want to start the process in a year? Because that changes things by about 4 months. We need to challenge their thinking. For anybody that's new, you new faces, you have no effing clue what challenging their thinking is. Challenging their thinking is not saying, hey, interest rates are only going to go up. Hey, the market's actually not that bad. Challenging their thinking is instead presenting an alternative that they maybe haven't considered yet. Like, if they're saying they're going to wait a year to buy a home and they don't want to start the process until next summer, I'm going to ask a question like, well, let's say the ideal home came on the market, maybe in the next few months, or maybe in June sometime of this year. Is that something you consider viewing, or will you miss out on that opportunity? And what you'll notice is if they say that they would be interested in viewing it, the reality is that they aren't waiting a year. They're waiting for the right home. And for most people, they're waiting for the right home. But let's go into the next piece that we need to hit on today, which is, because I see some new faces today. Colton, you guys been adding some peeps?
Yes, sir.
I like it.
We had a 40% answer rate,
40?
which isn't the fault of them. People are busy and they can only answer so many calls, but Zillow keeps increasing our volume, and which is a great problem to have. But it's a stupid problem to have.
Yeah, that's 40% answer rate is no bueno.
Nope.
We got to get that up. To tie this back, and I just want to name this to real estate. The last 2.5 years in real estate has been really just this fake market where everything was far too easy. And our skills have eroded. It's as if Colton, what happens to your muscle if you don't go to the gym for 2-3 months?
You can ask Ozzy. I walked into the office the other day and she was like, "You're looking real dainty, Colton."
He's getting smaller. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's just how it works. And it doesn't matter if it's physical muscle or muscle memory or your mental muscles. It does not matter. If you don't use it, you lose it. And the reality is we haven't had to influence people the last couple of years until the last few months. This is going to be our new norm, y'all. What we've been feeling, this moments of euphoria, like, yay, we're seeing a little activity again. We're like little kids in the kiddie store, like there's a new Lego set or whatever the hell toy you want to go and get. You're a little kid, and then what happens is you see the euphoria disappear. And that's where we're at. Now, I think we're through the biggest pain of it, no doubt about it. Just to kind of give you all perspective, January 2023 was the most painful closings month nationwide I've ever seen for teams.
Yeah.
Throughout the country. The amount of teams I know that hemorrhaged hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's the normal, y'all. It is painful out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, January closings are a reflection of what market?
October,
September, October-ish, November. Always 60 to 90 days ahead. There's no doubt that things have improved, but in terms of closing, it's been painful. And y'all, what happens when things are painful and our money is down, down, down? People get scared. People drop out. It's happening right now as we speak, dropping out of the game. The uncertainty, the lack of money, the lack of income, bills coming due, it is happening. It's everything we've been talking about. What we have to be focused on right now is influence. I want everybody to write down that word, influence. Influence is what separates the greats from the goods. I had the privilege of spending about 2 full days with Ben Kinney. Anybody in here know who Ben Kinney is?
That guy is one of the most brilliant, amazing people to listen to speak.
He is, I think, the smartest guy in all of real estate.
I agree.
Or one of a handful.
Complete.
He's 44 years old, just to give you all some background. He is a former cable salesman. Grew up in a shed in the woods with no running water, no electricity. Eric actually got to meet his dad. And he's not this charismatic human being. That's not Ben.
Nope.
If he was standing right next to you, you probably have no clue because he's not going to talk to you. That's just not who Ben is. But Ben is the most brilliant man in real estate. And at the age of 44, he created Well, about 8 years ago, he laid the foundation for this. But at the age of 44, he is now worth about $1 billion, give or take, probably 900 million. He created a company called Place. And if you go Google Place, about 250 teams, including like Veronica Figueroa, who's at EXP, many great teams across all brokerages, Real, KW, some of the old big boxes, Compass, they've joined Place. And Ben is the founder of Place, and he sold 8% of the company for $100 million to Goldman Sachs. What's interesting is spending 2 days with him. First off, he is one of the most humble and kind human beings I've ever met, which is just a really good trait to have, because man, you can have all the money in the world, and if you're still egotistical, you're just another fuckface out there. And then we all know those. You guys see him in Cali probably more than you'd like, right? But here's some things I learned from Ben that I want to share with you. First off, I got to do my little roll. I asked him about the one book that he would recommend that I read that I have not read. And he said it's got to be this guy. The Almanac of Novel Ravikant. You're like, what are those words? The Almanac of Novel Ravikant. He's one of those Silicon Valley billionaires. He actually didn't write the book. Somebody wrote it about him. And he does something he calls, or what he calls in the book, the author did, tweet storms. So he literally just tweets his ideas, and he's freaking brilliant. The funny thing is, this book could also be called the Almanac of Ben Kinney, because as I spent 2 days with Ben, and then I've been reading this since spending time with him, Ben lives exactly what is outlined in this book. There's 2 chapters or 2 phases of this book. One is how do you build wealth, and how do you build wisdom? How do you build wealth, and how do you build wisdom? I want to teach you guys a couple things that Ben shared with me that I think are going to be really applicable to your guys' lives today. Let's start with this. Ben told me that there are 4 different types of luck that we all have. 4 different types of luck. Number 1 is something called blind luck. Blind luck is you winning the lottery. Blind luck is you playing real estate in the stupidest motherfucking market we've ever seen. Do we have any control over the markets? None. Does the president have any control over the markets? No. So y'all know, anybody that's like really political, like, it's got to be Trump, it's got to be Biden. They do almost nothing to affect the economy. Very, very, very little. Anybody know who affects the economy the most? Anybody have guess? Who?
The Fed.
The Federal Reserve. They push money into the market and they pull it out to either inflate things or deflate things. And first off, who in here likes inflation? Every single one of your fucking hands should be up. Every one of you. Here's the thing. If you buy a house, do you want the value of your house to go up? What is that called? If you put money into stocks, index funds, right? Do you want the value of that to go up? Well, that's by definition inflation, right? But you know what we don't like? We don't like rampant inflammation. I was going to say. That's true as well, right? We don't like rampant inflation because it feels like, oh my gosh, every time you go to the store, something's really, really expensive. And the Fed has created this target of you should be hitting, or they want to see growth, which is inflation. Yeah, right? Growth is inflation. It's inflating of about 2 to 4%. My theory behind that is we are comfortable going in and seeing the price of our grocery bill go up 2 to 4% per year. You don't notice it, right? But what happens if you see it go up 10% per year? What do you start feeling? Frustrated, agitated, and it eliminates predictability. Here's my point though. To tie this back, first form of luck is blind luck. You don't know what the Fed's going to do, y'all. You don't control it. That is blind luck. It's just like winning the lottery. We were just lucky that we were playing real estate in the softest, easiest market that we could be playing in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Number 2 is legwork luck. This is the do the damn duty, do the work luck. Make your calls, send your text messages, hit your lead numbers, do the right mother effing things. Make your calls, shoot your texts, knock some doors, whatever the hell your thing is to create business. Do it. This is leg work luck. This is what most people refer to as hard work. Hard work luck. Number 3 is skill-based luck. You could also view this as leveraged luck. It's when you, because of your skills, can do more with less. No offense to all of you, but if I were given the same 100 leads that all of you are being given, I would out-convert any of you because of my skills. It's leverage. Leverage simply means I can get more with less. Is that making sense? Skills-based luck. And then number 4 is attraction luck. Attraction luck. This is when you attract other people's luck. This is when you attract other people's luck. In this role, first off, far too many of us thought we were good with legwork luck, skills-based luck, and attraction luck the last 2 years. We thought we were. And the reality is nah, it was blind luck. And what we need to be doing right now is 3 simple things. First off, when you're new in this industry, for the most part, the luck that you are going to rely on is legwork luck. You are throwing shit at the wall, hoping to find opportunities. Anybody new to the industry? Do you agree with this? Your skills are dog shit because you don't know what you're doing yet. They're not great. They're nowhere near as good as they could be. They're going to keep getting better. But you do enough of the right things. Phase 2 is you start layering in skills-based luck. You start learning. You start practicing. You start studying. And sure as hell, at some point when you've been doing this long enough, what happens is you attract other people's luck. A good example is people who don't even have to work hard and people are reaching out to them, past clients, friends, or family, saying, I want to buy or sell a home. That's attracting other people's luck, isn't it? You have to go through these phases. My question for you is, how do we increase legwork luck? What do we need to be doing? Any guesses? I want to give you the most simple answer in the world. You need to have a number in your mind and you need to hit it. That's it. You need to know, what is my number? What are the numbers I need to hit? And go and do it.
Boom, I just did a post on that.
It is so simple. Stop
so easy.
getting it. Here's a really good example. I'll just be very, very frank. Our ISA department has been a fucking shit show. It has gone through some turmoil, y'all, which is really funny because they're proximate to me, meaning they're down there, but mentally there was some distance created. But Eric and I made a decision, and Heather, Colton knows these people. It's basically Eric's the owner, Heather's the president, and I'm Eric's business partner at Hatch Coaching. We made the decision that I was going to come in. I came in, and I'm coming in on Mondays for the full day, and I'm resetting everything. Reset all of it. I dropped the hammer. I walked in, basically said, these things are going to happen. If they don't happen, you're going on a PIP. If it doesn't change over a PIP of 1 week, you will no longer have a job here. Is that simple? Here's the numbers. Here's the standard you need to hit. If you don't hit it, you go on a 1 week performance improvement plan, a PIP. And if you don't improve, you're choosing to no longer be here. It's that simple, y'all. I walked in, I did this on Monday. And Cody, one of our ISAs who had way too many things on his plate, had set 2 appointments in the last month and a half. Painful. Because he was kind of the leader. Guess how many appointments he set on Tuesday? 5. Know your simple number and hit it. Do the damn work. Walk the steps. If you don't know what the number is, ask Colton. I guarantee he'll be able to tell you what the number should be. Ask me, Polo me. I will tell you what your number should be.
The super simple numbers for you guys to pay attention to. And all of this is tracked in your CSU. When you go into CSU and you see your new conversations, you can see your daily new conversations. If you want to net 100 grand a year, you have to have 2 brand new conversations per day. The reason that we beat up making freaking phone calls every goddamn day is because the phone calls lead to conversations and the conversations lead to your appointments. And if you just focus on that one thing, even the shittiest of agents can make 100 grand. But it's that relentless ability to continuously show up on the days that you don't want to, doing the activities that haven't been producing any gold for you because you're getting frustrated that you're digging through the dirt. But we are goddamn gold miners. That is what we do. We know that as part of the world that we live in. We have to dig through dirt to find the gold. Change your mindset on what these leads are, because when you 1 out of 20 is one of the highest converting leads that is available in the industry. And if you're damn good, I promise you, you can get 2 out of 20. Yes. And it takes time. And that's the whole thing. It takes time to nurture these people and get them off the fence. And I talked about this last week. If I told you 100%, and guys, open houses count. We're not just talking about cold calls. Door knocking counts. Open houses count. Geographic farming inquiries count. All of those conversations about real estate count. You just have to have 2 of them per day. And then on the days when you're like, shit, well, you know, I couldn't do it today because I had to drop off my kids. And then my uncle called me and my turtle flipped over. And you've got all these reasons and excuses for why we couldn't make phone calls. And the reality is they're nothing but freaking excuses. And it sounds rough, but Jesus, we are getting into a market where babying is not going to fucking work. Nope. And it's like, you got to have the phone calls. And if I told you, and I know damn well, I've got so many experienced badasses on this call. If I told you right now, Stephanie, Christina, Ozzy, Michael, Booney, and if I didn't call your name, it's because you're not on my screen yet. And it's like, if I told you that all you had to go do, if you go hold open houses, 14 aren't going to do shit. 14 of the people aren't going to want to work with you, but your 15th one is guaranteed to be your next closing. And we talked about that last week. I said, how fucking relentless would you be to go hold open houses Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mornings, afternoons, evenings? It wouldn't matter because you already knew that on the 15th one, I was going to get my next closing. Mm-hmm. The conversion nationally out for a national average is 1 out of every 15. So if you're sitting here wondering, well, I don't have any deals, go have conversations with people. It is that simple.
I couldn't agree more. And I love it when Colton gets a little feisty, a little spicy, little Sriracha Colton coming out there.
Oh, it's Sriracha Colton this week.
Sriracha Colton, I like it. Well, here's what y'all need to see. I'm gonna want to share my screen with you guys for a second. All right, can you all see this whiteboard thing? Is this coming through? All right, I want everybody to draw this. If you're not drawing this, Colton, you're gonna fire these people, okay?
Yep.
Pardon the really shitty handwriting. Writing on a mouse sucks. Okay, y'all need to draw this. In 2022, there was 100 fish in the sea. Like that fish? Look at that. Good stuff there. And there was 10 fishing boats. Now, of course, it wasn't exactly 110, but you see the point. Fishing boats represent people in real estate. Fish represent the amount of sales happening in real estate. 2022, what I mean by that is essentially through mid-2022. I think you guys understand the point. 2 things. One, we were seeing a record number of sales happening and a record number of real estate agents making those sales. Right, Colton? That's
Yep.
what we're seeing in that fake market. Okay, cool. That was 2022. And actually down here, if you are any good at math, you just know that the average fishing boat is doing 10 fish, right? Let's go over here. Let's talk about where we're at now. 2023. There are roughly still 10 of these motherfuckers trying to catch fish. But what's happened to the amount of fish nationwide? Has it gone down, stayed the same, or gone up? Gone down. Almost in all markets, you're seeing about 60 to 70 homes being sold. Is this about right, Colton? Give or take?
Yep.
If you're good at math, what this means is it's 60 to 70 divided by 10 equals 6 to 7 deals, which is a decrease in total transaction volume, which really affects our income, of 30 to 40%. This is what people are feeling in real estate. Can I get an amen? This is it. It's not fun. There's no doubt about it. But let's not focus on this because this just happens. By the way, this is the biggest shift in real estate since 2008. Since the aftermath of 2008. What is different about this market compared to 2008? The only difference.
People have equity.
Yes, but what is different about the market? By the market, I mean number of homes being sold and prices of the homes in the market. In other words, what's different about prices in the market compared to 2007, 8, really 9, 10, 11? What's different?
Prices didn't drop.
Prices have held decently steady. What happened in 9, 10, and 11? What happened to prices?
Fire sale.
They fell about 30 to 40% as well. That is very, very, very unlikely to happen. Why?
Because people have equity.
Yeah, we're not going to see the foreclosures because of the equity. But there's also limited inventory. Why is there limited inventory in your guys' markets? One, for a decade, we underbuilt homes. That's fact. That's just go look at it. We're just finally catching up. We have underbuilt single-family homes and housing for a decade. Really over a decade, to be honest. More like 15 years. Why? What happened in 2007, 2008? Housing crash. You couldn't give away new houses for free. What happens to builders? See ya. Bye-bye. All right. Let's go to 2024. What is coming in the future? And again, it's not like clear at the end of 2023, but it gives you an idea. Here's what's going to happen in 2024. I actually think we're going to see more of the same. The other reason, by the way, behind low inventory is people's interest rates on their home. 90+% of all mortgages in the United States, I think it's even higher than 90%, it's like 92%, but we'll be conservative. 90% of all interest rates on a home are sub 4%. Sub 4%. So how does it affect people when they're thinking about, I might want to get a bigger home or I want to downsize? They would literally downsize and pay more. So what do? Let's say you're 6 years old. You want to downsize, you've been thinking about it for a while, you run the numbers, you go and look, and what's the interest rate today, Colton? Almost 6?
I think we're in the 7s right now.
7, 6, 7, somewhere in there, right? Oh, this whole month has been nuts. Every day,
7.01.
7%. And my house that I own is at, because I refinanced in 2021, it's at 3%. When I go run the numbers, what am I going to see, even if I want to downsize 1,000 square feet? I'm going to pay the same amount, aren't I? So what do? Why would I do that? Makes no sense. So this is where people are. So this is going to stay the same. But what's going to change about this number?
Decrease
How much?
50%.
Probably 30 to 50%. I'm going to be conservative here and say it's going to be 6 to 7. It could be worse. Someone do the math. How many deals is that in 2024 per real estate agent? Please, someone do the math. Holy fuck.
36. I don't
Jesus.
know.
60 to 7 divided by 60 to 70 divided by 6 or 7. I'm really questioning the California public education system right now. Really questioning it, y'all. 67. I'm just giving you guys shit. We're back to 2022, aren't we? You guys see that? In this next phase, when these agents drop out, this is where it gets fun.
Yep.
Who's left? Who are these 6 to 7 people that are left? Who is it? Who's left standing? Michael, who's left standing?
People that are committed,
Committed. What the hell does that mean?
that do what's needed. I mean, they're making their phone calls.
They know their number and they hit it. Legwork luck. They're also investing in their skills, right? And by investing in their skills, they're leveraging the results they get compared to the average person.
Yeah.
You're getting more with less. The better you get, the less phone calls you have to make. So if you make the same amount of phone calls, you get more results. It's that simple. Let's talk about what's coming in 2025, the future of real estate. And then you'll see something really funny. And again, these aren't all this last 1 year. It could last 6 months. It could last 3 years. You don't know. 2025, I guarantee what's going to happen at some point. We're going to get back to this. If you guys are not drawing these circles, you need to draw your fucking circles. 100 fish. Looks like an infinity sign. And 6 to 7 fishing boats. This was the first year of the COVID market, when there was no other jokers that flooded the industry, when people were afraid because it was only the good people left standing. And for that year and a half, what is 100 divided by 6 to 7?
16.6.
16.6. I actually don't know the number, so I'm going to go with that. 16.6. When is it most advantageous to be in the market? Here. And then guess what happens? Because it gets all fun and sexy, we go back over here. This goes back to 10. You guys see this, right? What is this known as?
cycle.
A cycle. And it's a tale as old as time. If we were to go back and do this before, when this happened, it was 06 through essentially, we'll call it 08. This was 08. We'll call it through, actually it was 06, 07. This was 08 to 09-ish, probably even dropping sooner. This was 9 through 12. And honestly, this was 13 through 20. And it goes back. Y'all, when you look at this, what does this do? What should this be doing for you?
Get you excited.
The best days are yet to come. I get, honestly, when we're here, this is where you should get really excited. When you're here, the only way you're going to go is probably go down at some point. From here, guess where it's going to go? Up, if you do the right things. Also, friends, the market doesn't fucking matter. Sure, it changes some things. Sure, it changes your income, right? Let me ask you this, Michael, when you're in this game, when things are really good and you're selling a ton more homes because the market's a little bit easier, right? When that blind luck is happening, what should we be doing with our money?
Stockpiling it.
Stockpiling it, investing it, having cash. Why?
Because you know what's about to come.
You don't know what's about to come. Right? In seasons like this, if you have 12 to 24 months of cash on the sidelines, are you scared? Nope. We just have to be mentally used to this and get used to it. Does this make sense? Any questions on this from anybody? Any dissent, frustration, pushback? Colton, what are your thoughts?
I love it.
Okay.
And it's the natural cycle of what happens.
It's just what happens, and we don't know the timelines for sure.
Robbie, I have a question.
Throw it at me, Christina.
The cycle, do you
Yeah.
think there's a number of years that it usually lasts, average number of years, or?
Always unpredictable. Always. It's true. 2007, 2008 was so prolonged because of the devastation in the markets. This is not 2007, 2008. Not even close. And there's things that can change it, right? There's so many different things that can happen. 2007, 2008 was a Great Recession. A war with China could break out. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if that broke out, it changes things. I think the biggest problem, the biggest conversation that's starting to happen is affordability of homes. Affordability of homes is going to be at the forefront, I think, of the next political cycle, which will be really interesting because what I know about politicians is they usually implement really stupid ideas on both sides of the aisle. And the problem is I think I think two things will probably happen. One, I think they're going to legalize and pass legislation that creates a 40-year mortgage that will make homes more affordable for people. Because when we talk about affordability, it is their monthly payment is out of hand. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be interesting if they do programs like a federal first-time buyer program, which will actually, in my opinion, potentially make the problem worse, because where we're really going to see stagnation is if you're listing first-time homes, right? Let's call it in your market, 750,000-ish homes, 500,000 homes, they're probably selling pretty quickly. I think where the market's going to be really interesting is in the middle, because there's just so many people staying. I could also see them subsidizing building homes, stuff like that. I think there's going to be some problems, but this is our new normal. This is a new normal. This is not going away. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to show you is this is not going away. We are not going back. That easy, stupid market will never, frankly, I think, ever go back to it again. It was this extreme market created by the Fed injecting stupid amounts of money into the market to avoid economic collapse post-COVID. One of the unintended consequences of that, especially with real estate, was COVID was a billboard to own your own home or improve your own home because it is your safety net. And I think actually people still view it that way. And I don't think that's ever going to go away, not anytime soon. But this is our new norm. There will be less total homes being sold for a while, and it's going to thin the herd. And I have one simple phrase you need to commit to yourself and think about this. This is separation season. You separate yourselves from others in seasons like this. Winners find a way to win. And what's funny is difficult markets. Think about this. If you can find a way to win right now, when the markets gets easy, it's even easier to win. And there's none of the other jokers around for a while. Y'all, we need to be thinking like this. Warren Buffett talks about in businesses how a great business has a moat. Anybody in big nerds? You understand castles, all that stuff? What's the point of a moat? Defense.
Funneling.
Strategic
Guard your
defense.
home.
Keep the bad guys out, right? You put a moat. here's the thing. What are you doing to build a moat around your business? Are you hitting your numbers every single day? Because if you're not building your moat. Are you investing 30 minutes per day to get better? If not, you're not building a moat. Build your damn moat, y'all. That's what great businesses do. Colton, go
I
ahead.
want to add one thing to it, because we, like, anytime we've been really intentional, we say, all right, guys, we're going to stop. And for the next hour, we're just going to make phone calls. All of you make your 20 minimum phone calls, which, by the way, 20 is like, I don't even like telling people that that's our bare minimum, because it's embarrassing, because 20 is not an acceptable number for real estate salespeople, period. But we have just learned how difficult it is to get people to make 20 phone calls. It, like, for those of you who are new, and for everybody here who's unemployed, if you have no escrow, you are unemployed, period. If you are unemployed, I do not understand the inability to show up for yourselves for a single hour and make 20 freaking phone calls. It's crazy. It takes 20 minutes. And you hear all these coaches, you got to spend 3 hours a day prospect. Honestly, fuck that. No, they never did that. Unless you're an ISA, you never did it. I never did it. 3 hours of prospecting is total and complete bullshit. You got to string together 1 freaking hour of making phone calls per day, 5 days a week. Maybe 6 if you want to be an overachiever. And you got to do that shit for weeks on end, months on end, quarters on end, years on end. And then when you're finding that agent that didn't quit, you get to see the disproportionate return of those efforts. I don't take any leads anymore, guys. Every house that my production partner and I sell is all from all the efforts that I always put in before. And what I tell everybody is, you cannot watch me or Michael or Booney or Christina or Ozzy or Stephanie, who has been doing this for a long time, because you're not seeing what they did to get where they're at. When you are new, put your blinders on, ignore the successful people, because they already went through this. They already went through the turbulent period. They already worked their asses off, and now they're getting paid in dividends.
It is
An hour. It's all we need.
What it really comes down to reiterate your point, you and those other names that you mentioned, you guys are attracting other people's luck because you did the legwork luck. You did the skill-based luck. Years ago, the reason I am a real estate coach is not at all because of just being lucky. It is because I have attracted other people's luck. But I had to start by doing the hard work. Phase 2 was improving my skills so I could get disproportionate results with the same amount of time. And then phase 3 became, I attracted other people's luck. If you're not attracting other people's luck, you have no excuse not to hit your numbers. It's truly that simple. If you want to be successful, know your number, hit it, and commit to it daily. Repeat, enhance your skills, practice, learn and grow. Ask Colton, what do I suck ass at? You all want to know the biggest reason you're maybe not getting the results? Either not doing enough of the right things, or you have too big a damn ego to allow somebody to tell you that you could be doing it far better than you are right now. You think your way is right. I guarantee you walk in, Colton, can you listen to my call and tell me everywhere I mess up? Colton, what would you do? You would take that 5-10 minutes to give them that feedback. And if they took that to heart and made the changes, it's leverage results. So you don't have to make 20 phone calls anymore. You only have to make 10 to get 2 appointments. That's what we want.
And those of you who hide on our calls, one, know the reason that I intentionally pick on you guys is because when you're hiding from it, you're scared to hear the feedback that's going to help you improve. Yeah. And you have to hear the feedback for you to improve. And there's 2 types of people, and everybody here pretends. We all say it. If I'm like, hey, are you open-minded? Are you receptive to criticism? Everybody's like, oh, fuck yeah, I am. And then the minute you give it to them, they wither up into a little ball and get defensive and mad and angry. And it's like, no, you're not. You got to be okay hearing the things that are going to help you improve. I didn't have any coddling by my mentor. He had the come to Jesus meeting. You suck. You're not converting enough. Start converting fucking leads or you're out.
Mhm.
And I was like, he didn't teach me how to convert leads. He didn't teach me what to say. I just had to figure it out. He threw you in the pool and said, sink or swim. Your choice. It is this simple. I don't even know how coaches have a job, to be honest, because the formula is so freaking simple and we try to overcomplicate the shit out of it. And we look for the easy button each and every time. And the easy button does not fucking exist. Hard work is the only thing that's going to work when you have these headwinds in this market.
100%. Yep. And I've seen even people that were good at attracting other people's luck. And when they're not getting what they wanted, guess what they're doing now? They're doing the leg work luck. I guarantee if Colton didn't have all you guys have a team, Colton would be doing far more lead generation. Guarantee it.
And now I'm doing it. It's just different. I'm doing the same thing. I make sure I talk to 5 brand new agents per day. I make sure I follow up with 4 agents a day. I make sure that I touch base with at least 4 of you or 4 of my EXP partners per day. It's the same process for clients as it is to retain and attract agents. It's directly paralleled. Exactly what I used to do is now use just talking to agents. We list agents now, not houses. Like it's the same process is how that works.
Which is simply influence. You're influencing people, but you can't influence people if you don't make the phone calls, if you don't make the attempts, you don't have the conversations. It is impossible. You have to be willing to get your at-bats. You got to be willing to pick up the fucking shovel and dig for dirt.
Robbie, I want to do a webinar with you soon.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You got me all heated up. We need to do one.
I like it. It's been a few months. Let's do it.
Been a while.
I know. All right, y'all. So we'll wrap there. Next call, we're gonna do some more role playing. For those of you who've been hiding and haven't been role playing with me for a minute, you're gonna be front and center. So come prepared. If you're out sick, I'm gonna be pissed. But we will see you then. Colton, email me about that webinar. We'll make it happen.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, guys. See ya. Peace.